Yeah, Saturday today sees something different, and shortly we're catching this Aeroflot airliner to Moscow, starting a 8-day trip of parts of Russia. The airport's 30 kilometres out from the city. So two cars, yeah, two trolleybuses must be on different routes there. You can see the trolley ropes hanging over the side of the bus. Must be waiting for a red light here. Well, it's taken till 6:45 to get this far. Time difference of 2 hours, I guess, robbed us of 2 hours of the day. Booked us into this little hotel called the Cosmos, only 3,000 something beds. I'm on the 13th floor, somewhere up there, and quite satisfactory view from the window. Try and get something later. Probably be a bit better in the morning though. Of course, any sun will be behind the camera at that time. I believe it stays sunlight till about 10 o'clock at night, so yeah, nearly 7. The sun's still a long way up. So I'll do what I can before dinner. Not only is trams there, but trolleybus loading up just over there. Seems to be quite a variety of colours. And the overhead's interesting. It's sort of a mild form of catenary for the trolleybuses, which I haven't so much noticed for the trams. Looks like the tram's going first. Rail seems to be rather heavy, grooved rail. Actually, there's some of the catenary type there. It's not used as a feeder though, it's just used as a support wire. And it looks like there's trolleybuses in both streets here as well. It didn't make a lot of noise growling off there. Just like Melbourne. Some of the rail joints aren't too good, just like St George's Road. The nut's actually lying on the ground beside that bolt that's half out. But for the moment the line still line up, so who cares? Auto points. That's the insulator, just two springy bits of wire hanging down on either side of the main wire, but it's preceded by some form of section insulator which doesn't occur on the other wire for the other direction. And that insulator is not supported by any span wires that I can see either. I suppose that's the speed you're supposed to go around the corner. 15 kilometres per hour. The frog's not ramped, and this junction is a bit falling apart. Most of the clatter was from the point blades. I might have said the wrong thing there. The frogs are slightly ramped. Probably just the barest that they need to be. All the cars I've seen so far are the one type, which are probably fairly standard Tatras, although the different colour scheme sometimes disguises the appearance from one city to the next. I hope he goes the other way. Bang. Geez, you wouldn't want to get your foot caught in that one. There are traffic lights here, but they don't seem to be working. Everyone just sort of gets through somehow. Little fence between the cars to stop people jumping, taking a shortcut. And the bus is a bit like Egypt, where the radiator's missing. You can see the wheels and things spinning around on the engine. Just like Melbourne, if it works, it's good enough. Anyway, I think that's about enough for this location. Yeah, I'll have to wander back to the hotel for dinner, I guess. Those funny lines of the doors. But we're going to try and find our way to Red Square. Much like Budapest, but I don't think Budapest seats are padded. Just get the map. Some of it anyway. We're going down Route 5, which is the one slightly to the right in the middle. And Red Square's where those three vertical dots join up in the very middle of the circle. So that building's got a certain appeal about it. Can't see the stage. I don't know whether he's lost his poles or just gone up the wrong wire. He's been there for a minute, didn't get here in time. Oh yes, he had his things. He's gone up the wrong wire. And he must have had one of his ropes tangled, because he had to get up on the roof to free it. Yeah, the poles were on the wire, but they went up the wrong one, wrong pair.
Ja, zolang je in het remmen zit, kan er niks fout gaan. Nee.
Yeah, well, it's 11 o'clock at night now. And just got back to the hotel. As you can see, it's just about dark. At opposite the hotel, there's one tram of no particular interest, except the one in front of it's in darkness, so it appears as though I've unjustly blamed the trams. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but, well, yeah, maybe you will. Maybe you will on full telephoto. I'll get the focus a bit better if I can. Those two things in the middle are the trolleybus poles in all directions, snagged up in the overhead, just like Melbourne. So until they shift the trolleybus, which is halfway around the corner, nobody goes nowhere. Trolleybus behind us coming up there now. Oh, you can see the poles on that one. There's another tram coming up behind that. Beside it, I should say. Good. Well, I had a difficult choice to make today. Either spend the whole day on tourist type things or chase some trams. So those of you expecting to see the touristy type things, you're going to be disappointed. There doesn't appear to be any provision for tram chasing in Moscow. Certainly not today, and tomorrow is supposed to be metro, but I ride the metro for necessity, not for fun. So we'll decide about that later. Mixture of trams, trolleybuses and diesel buses at this location. This is the view from the hotel window in case you hadn't guessed. Getting in perspective, that's the entrance to the metro station there, that round building. So there's a plane or a rocket on the top. But initially I'll take the metro to where we left that tram last night and go for a look along that line. Couple more trams, trolleybus. That trolleybus down there is about to make the manoeuvre that resulted in that one getting unstuck last night. In other words, I think he's going to make the right-hand turn. Successfully. Running double cars on the line this morning, Sunday morning it is, by the way. Metro station in the background, and that's the terminus. I just saw the car coming over the bridge last night. They must take track work lessons from Melbourne. One rail joint, one almost sort of opposite, and yet another one. Give you some idea of the cost of travel in Moscow. 1 ruble is worth a spot more than 2 cents. And for 2 rubles you get 1 metro ride and 10 yen tram, bus or trolleybus rides in a ticket form. That tram didn't wait there long. It's just going around the other side of the park and continues down sort of separated single track. And that's the other track looking across the park. At this point there's a lake, and despite it looks like the fact it looks like pea soup, a man there just caught a fish and he's obviously got a few others in his basket. So there's got to be some in there. Just up the road a bit. The service had been frequent earlier, but waiting quite a few minutes this time. Apparently they call trams something sounding much like tramway in Russian. A bit like the French, they call trams tramway. Then quite a few trolley buses go across that intersection where the tram stopped since I've been here. Might be a tower wagon, that. I don't have a map for anything, so it's a bit tricky finding my way around. 2 routes running here though, 3 and the 39, so that was the 39, maybe the next 3 will come in a minute. Just a spot further on, I think this is the Route 30. There's a metro station just on the left, which is a few hundred yards from where I took the last scene. Managed to buy a cup of Pepsi Cola, which tasted somewhat watered down, but only cost 9 cents or something. And a slightly banana flavoured ice cream that hadn't seen refrigeration for a few minutes and was a little bit mushy, but still it was refreshing. So there's probably 2 routes here, seeing there's 2 trams arrived together. Oh, big railway station on the right. Have a snoop in there before I go. $35. So far the couple sets I've seen have been numbered in numerical sequence, but it doesn't seem to matter which one comes first. Can't count 5210 and 5213. As they turn left, they join the 3 and 39, heading in the direction I was travelling. I'll go and see if there's anything interesting in the railway station. Find the trains, but multiple unit one with 5 pantographs. A similar one's just arrived on the left. And double-sided platforms, you can't see the wheels or anything. There was a loco that went out a minute ago too. Work out what sound some of those funny marks are. That one has to be Pepsi Cola. Well, it is, I know that now. On previous tape I mentioned the awkward arrangement for the foot pedals. The driver appears to be holding the brake pedal down. You see how they've got to lift their foot right off one pedal to go to the other. Which means a lot of the time you're holding your footing in mid-air. A terrible thing happened a few minutes ago. I was on the tram and some young fellas who turned out to be inspectors got on, and I got fined a whole 20 rubles, 22 cents it was, because you're supposed to clip 3 tickets at a time, not 1. I wonder if the others know that. This is a rather large balloon loop terminus with a passing loop in it. I was going to get off at the next stop anyway and look at this open air market, and there's a terminus anyway. There's also a depot here, a few wrecks in there by the looks of things too. Don't know how many trams around the loop. I think there could be quite a few. There's one couple set coming up through there. Noticed a couple set a little while ago, and the second car had no pantograph at all. So obviously they permanently stay together. Ones on the right look like they're partly stripped. So I'm just going to stay there. There's several other entrances. Or run off the street and sort of fan out into a yard. Must be sort of the scrapyard down the back there. That's the market up there, sort of bedlam getting through. But a good market really, although a lot of the stuff is just old rubbish. Everything from kitchen sinks, toilets, tools, taps and dyes. Even some peach faces and budgies for sale. I'll try and get on this tram if I can and see where it goes. Looks like about 500 other people have the same idea. Did see a new style go past a minute ago, but I think I've missed it on its way back. I suspect something's broken down here because we're sort of thrown off a bit unexpectedly and there's still people sitting in trams there. But if you want a track break, there's one sitting on the ground there. I suppose it got snagged in something or another and got ripped right off. Yeah, there you are. The overhead wire slipped off the side of the panto. Of course, just there. Oh, that's better. Just there, the span wire's broken and that ear has slipped over to the side. The overhead's now resting on the pantograph of the second car, which has its pantograph down. Just around the corner of spot, interesting check rail. There's ordinary grooved rail, and then slipped over the top of that is a piece of ordinary rail as well, which gives you roughly a triple height check rail. And looking at it, it gets brushed here and there along the way as well. It'll take a long time for that to wear away. The other end of Route 3, where I started this morning, is behind me in a loop. I don't know what he was calling out, but I gather it was for my benefit. Most of them just sort of ignore you. They don't take any attention of you either way. It's hard to say what there is the most of in Moscow, reservation or street running. This is sort of a reservation here. Just went past me, has come from further out somewhere. The loop isn't the end of the line itself. Perhaps I was just lucky with the number of trams, but it seems to be a good service for a Sunday afternoon, 3:30 or so. There do seem to be a lot of traffic lights which tend to be a bit unnecessarily long at times with their reds. A few of the fairly light traffic, but then the traffic may be much heavier tomorrow. Reasonable grade, but probably not quite as steep as it looks on the camera. Looking the other way, there's the number 3 I came out on, nestled quietly in the park. Bit hard to say what's actually out here. A fair bit of housing, but there seems to be a certain amount of grassland around Moscow here and there. Well, it's after tea, and I suppose this is sort of my after dinner mint. I caught a number 5, which also is a terminus for the 17 and possibly one other route. There's 3 tracks here, and this is one of the lines that goes past the hotel in the outer direction. I didn't think to time myself to see how long it took. It certainly had to be more than half an hour, and bearing in mind that we're already a fair way out from the city at the hotel, this must be obviously quite a bit further. Hopefully one of these will take off in a moment. The track on this line was a little bit better than the areas I was on today, although the last driver was dragging the road a bit, so it wasn't quite so easy to tell. But certainly earlier today they had to restrict their speed quite often due to the roughness of the track. Not that it's marvellous out this line, but I think they did tend to be able to go a little bit faster. One about to depart behind me, so I'll get into position for it. Certainly this ride was all reservation, and most of it was some form of side of the road similar to this double track side of the road.